Amazing. Good evening, everyone. So my screen is clear, right? Thumbs up if the screen is clear. Amazing. Okay. I am very happy to see us show up for week two. And before we get into the deal of today, I would love to know who has started their cloud skill labs and who has tried to explore the GCP platform and what are their takes, what do they not understand, where did they have an issue, and so on. So I'll just give you guys the floor. Hands up if you have tried the GCP platform already, the Google Cloud platform, if you've navigated it as Sir Umar rightly pointed out in his session. Seems I'm not getting the exact part to complete. OS, I don't know if that's your name. For you to have the exact part to complete, I think I'll just share that tab. Like that's going to be the first tab I'm going to share. So let me just switch my presentation. Give me a second. So tell me if you can see creating virtual machines, which is obviously the lab we're going to try out together today. Just tell me if you can see that. Can we see creating virtual machines? Amazing. Okay, if we can see that, then I'm going to take you directly to how you should navigate to this part. Okay, connection is really poor this minute. So first of all, you have the direct link to the part in two, three, yes, in the comment section, right? You have the direct link to the part in the comment section, and here you can either, let's say for the first session, the one Uma held for week one, we took the tour of Google Cloud and preparing your associate cloud journey, right? That's why he took you guys on a tour on the platform, the different modules, the different principles, the different features, the different everything in the Google Cloud platform, and also how you should prepare for your associate cloud engineer journey, what you should be looking out for. Yes, he had just a 1 hour session, which like took this is like 8 hours, 8 hours plus that he held in a 1 hour session, just summarizing everything for you. And within the week, you were supposed to have gone through these two labs, a lab and a course, obviously. This lab, 45 minutes, does not take you up to 50 minutes to complete. And yes, you go through this course, which is just telling you the ins and outs of the certification program itself. And today we're actually doing the real work, which is essentials of Google Cloud infrastructure, the foundation, and its core services. So yes, that's what this is the part you're supposed to be following. And for each part, this particular part has 14 different courses or modules, or either way you can call them. These different 14 different modules have been shared with your different facilitators per week, right? So like for today, I'm hosting these two, or I'm taking these two different modules. And let's say in your next week session, you would have another facilitator, I think facilitator Neba Desmond, who is going to take you through the next two, right? So we haven't pairing them because 6 weeks is a short time to actually go through everything with you guys. So we give you guys the whole week to go in depth, actually do the labs, um go through the courses, and then once you have issues or you encounter any issues within your journey, you can get to your facilitators, especially the ones who handle the particular module you're working on, right? I hope you guys understand. OS, I think have I answered your question? Yeah, you understand partially. Please unmute yourself and tell me exactly what you don't understand. OS. Okay, even if you can't speak currently, type exactly what you don't understand in the comment section and I'll pick it up from there. Okay, who else has gone through the labs, encountered errors also, or successfully gone through the labs? I know who actually does the activities, who doesn't. So please try doing your activities. Okay, because I can bet there are people who have not even redeemed their credits, not to talk about accessing the cloud skill boost account up to now. If you're following the program, I encourage you to do so. Catch up with those that are already going very far, because if you're here today with two and you have actually done with one lap, you're really very far. And the certification is just steps away from you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to just get into Fongwa. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that very well. If you did not attend last week's session, I think the video, because it was recorded, the YouTube video or the YouTube recording was shared in our study group. I don't know if you caught up from there, or you still had issues, or you have not seen the video itself. So we have a YouTube video from last week's session. Everything, it was more than an hour session, and we recorded everything. And you're not in the study group. Okay. Jean, please can you add forward to the study group? I'm seeing that you're currently on the call. Please just try adding him to the study group.
As you indicate, I'll do that.
Okay. Yes, without further ado, let's get into it. So today's session, I'm not about to go in depth into the notes. I just want to ground some concepts. I see most of us are beginners here, and I would love to ground some concepts before we get into the labs itself. You should not just follow labs without knowing some grounded concepts, why cloud, and what exactly are Google Cloud's core infrastructure and foundation infrastructure. So let me just present my slide in a moment. Okay, so please tell me if you can see that. I'll not obviously be seeing you guys, but yeah, just thumbs up if you can see my screen. Amazing. So, like I said, for those who have not yet started their cloud journey, please do start. And yes, I keep coming to the group saying, I'm with you guys. If you have an issue, you want us to have one lab session or go through a particular course together, I can find free time to do that with you, just to make sure that you catch up. But do catch up and follow through your journey, because that's going to help you actually get prepared for the exam. So, yes, today we are getting into Google Cloud infrastructure. And what are we going to be on the ground up? What are we going to be doing today? We're going to be making a difference between Google Cloud Foundation services and core services. We are going to get into some foundation concepts, core services concepts, some Q and A's, both from me and from you. And yes, we're going to see a preview of what is going to happen next week. So the difference between a foundation service and a core service is simple. So a foundation service, we actually build, what do we build? We build services like virtual networks and virtual machines. And these are literally physical equivalents to what we would do on on-site infrastructure, right? But for core services, for Google core services, we do not build anything. So Google core services are mostly operational, like access control using identity and access management, storage and database services, and overall management and monitoring. So I would say the foundation is most of Google Cloud's infrastructure, from IaaS, infrastructure as a service, PaaS, and the different ground ups, virtual machines, virtual networks, and core services are the different operations that actually happen in these different infrastructures. That is services like access control, storage, database services, and monitoring. So yeah. So how is the Google Cloud ecosystem perceived, right? The Google Cloud platform obviously is different from Google Cloud. I'll try to make that different right now. So Google Cloud platform is a platform, as it says, which has different services running through it. Let's say, for example, Google Workspace, right? Google's Workspace runs on the cloud, on Google Cloud Platform. That is from your Gmail, Google Drive, um, from Gmail, Google Drive, Sheets, whatever you do with the Google Workspace, all of Google Workspace works on the Google Cloud Platform. But what is Google Cloud? Google Cloud is a concept, a computing concept that tells us that we could have our devices running on the cloud, making them scalable, and at the same time with low latency, right? So we can see the platform as the Google Cloud Platform as an IaaS, right? That has different platform as a service running on it. That's Gmail, Google Workspace, Gemini, Chrome, and the like, right? So Google Cloud Computing is a solution that has all these Google Cloud key infrastructures, and you will see a software as a service. Which example of a software as a service? So what's an example of a software as a service? Like I said, your Gmail, I think you have been using that, you've not even known that that's software as a service. Let's say Chrome, Gemini, anything, because all of those store their data on the cloud, operate on the cloud. And then a platform as a service, which could be, let's say, a cloud run, where you just have to have your application core concepts and you run the web application on the cloud. And infrastructure as a service, where you need basic servers, where you need basic virtual machines to actually run your program, and you use Google Cloud, right? So this is just an example of how can you access your Google Cloud environment. So you can access your Google Cloud environment using Cloud Console, like we use. That is the graphical user interface, the GCP platform. You can access your Google Cloud environment using a Cloud Shell or a Cloud SDK. I can show you that. It's just a CLE. And you have Cloud APIs, like REST APIs, mostly used to access the cloud, right, for programming and everything. Also, it's a very grounded concept to know what a virtual private cloud is. So, a virtual private cloud, I may say, is a space in the cloud whereby you have different IP addresses and subnets just configured to, like you see, there are three different types of clouds. There's hybrid, is private, and is public. So now the virtual private cloud is like a subset of a private cloud where you have your own. Let's say you can configure your own identity access management and rioting. You can configure all security milieus, different security milieus, and also you can configure networking, everything on your own, right? So it helps you establish a secure and isolated communication pathway, right? And we would also get into a nice concept, which is compute engine. And a compute engine is an example of an infrastructure as a service. And here you can just customize your virtual machines to access workloads, process data. Let's say I need a server running. I built an application, but I need a server running in the US. Let's say a particular region. I just set it in the US, which is a zone, and set a particular region, either US West or US uh, East, A, B, C, or anyone. So there I can easily, what I would have needed to buy three computers to have done physically, I'll easily do that in the cloud. Also, this is just an example or a drawing that stipulates what foundation is and the operation is. So you have the raw foundation, which is like the underlying layer. You have virtual machines, networking, and everything. And you have its core services, like what runs within the cloud. Yeah, the operations that run within the cloud. So yeah, like I was saying, there are different things you need to understand in the cloud, and that is if you are trying to, let's say, you're trying to create a virtual private network, or you're trying to access a virtual machine in a particular location. Google obviously has virtual machines across almost all regions, almost all zones, and you want to create an application that has users across the world. It's good to have your application running on multiple locations. That also includes load balancing, but also aids to make sure that you don't actually encounter data loss in cases where, let's say, a physical location has an issue. So let's say a natural disaster, that location is lost, the data in that location is lost, but you can easily get balanced data from the other locations, right? Okay, and I'm talking very fast. Now, is there any concept we do not understand before I continue? Chill, we're going to get into the GCP and I'm going to re-explain all these concepts, but now with the live platform. So far, is there any concept we don't understand? Now, this is the most important part for me, and these questions always, they would never lack in your A certification exam. So you need to know the difference between an organization, folders, resources, and your project. So I would call them hierarchy. So this is hierarchy in the cloud. As you might have seen if you followed the small tutorial video we created for accessing your cloud platform, and also the session in week 1, you might have seen an organization called no organization, right? That is the root node, and it contains everything from your cloud resources, billing, everything of a particular project. Let's say we want to create a particular project. We cannot create a project without an organization. So your organization is your parent node, your root node, right? So after the organization, we have folders. So folders actually hold information, subsets of information for the organization. So it doesn't have a particular type of information it holds. So folders actually hold just subsets of information from the organization, right? And we have different resources like VM instances, cloud computing, compute engine instances, and everything that actually belong to a particular project. So a project comes out from a folder. So you have the organization, folders, and the project, and you have different resources in that project, right? So a project is associated with a particular ID, a particular project name, and obviously a billing account. You cannot run a project without a billing account. And billing accounts are in the organization, but a particular project has a billing account. I don't know if that's understood. So in my Google Cloud platform, I think I have more than 7 to 8 billing accounts. And per project I create, let's say for now we want to create a VM, or we want to, let's say, create a VPC, and we create a project for that. That project is going to be allocated one of those billing accounts, right? So that's the way I could explain it. Hope you guys have understood from there, because it's very important. Okay, amazing. Now I will tell you where the operations come in. So from your organization to your folders to your projects, we need to set access control, right? Which resources, like the VM instances, like the VPC network, right? Which resources can access what at which time? That is our resources. That is, let's say, even IP addresses, external IP addresses, who can access what and when. And policies are inherited from top to bottom. That is very important. All policies, let's say if I create a policy on the organization level, it is inherited from top to bottom. That means from organization to right to the project, all it applies to all of them, right? So if I apply an access control a policy on the folders level, it applies to the folders and the projects, right? I don't know if that's understood, and also the resources. So hope that is understood. Also, you have resource monitoring and billing. I think I have gone through monitoring and billing, which is very important, especially if you're using your personal card um on a project. Because if you're using your personal card on a project, you need to be able to measure your rate of use, the number of resources running in your particular instance, and what they consume, because you might put $100 and you get up the next morning and it's zero. So there's a lot that has to tie with resource monitoring and billing. So yeah, as we can see, as we heard from the last session, the Google Cloud platform functions on a pay as you go or pay as you use, which is simply that you would not be charged for a resource that you do not allocate. So all you need to do is, once you allocate a particular resource, you can create alerts for those particular resources to make sure that you do not consume more than your budget. right? And that's where quotas come into place. So quotas are, let's say, bits for limiting consumption, right? They are a measure of what can be used for a particular period of time. So you can create a billing, you can configure your billing account and you create a quota limit, and it will never pass that quota limit. A resource will never consume more than that quota limit, right? Yes. So each resource can be allocated a quota limit, and for each billing account, you can create a budget alert. So I don't know if that's understood. So quotas are for resources. So a particular resource has a particular quota it can consume. And for your overall billing account, you can create budget alerts. I think I showed that. I showed something like that in my last video, but I'm still going to show. So let's just move forward. So like I said, we have a traditional network on the left hand side, and we have a cloud VPC. Like I said, a cloud VPC is a private network that exists on particular places that you actually set. So let me say I create my VPC to run in 3 different continents, right? It can actually work all those in all those continents simultaneously, right? In real time. That's what the cloud does, right? All your services will be running in those different continents in real time. And there you can create predefined ranges, you can construct your different IP addresses for communication and data exchange. And yeah, so what you could have done in a traditional network where you have to go on site, make sure there are servers in all those different locations, you can easily do with the cloud. So I'll just get into this. There are 2 different modes when creating a VPC, which is very important. Like I said, this is also a frequently asked question in your certification. They will ask you the difference between the auto mode and the custom mode, which is what I would love to explain right now. So the auto mode is, as you say, automatic, right? Per region. And the custom mode is fully manual, where you have to choose the particular region according to your needs. So let's say I want my VPC to run in Asia. I will make sure that I am choosing the region Asia and a particular zone, let's say Asia Centre B or Asia West B, right? And you also have, for IP control, for auto mode is kind of predefined, right? You have a subnet of 20, and for the custom mode it's totally in your control. So you can control it as much as you want. If you want a subnet of 24, you can get that. Yes, for regions in the auto mode, regions are a subnet are automatically added, right? So you might have multiple regions. And for the custom mode, you need to manually add the particular regions. Like I said, Asia West dash B or A. It does not auto mode does not support IPv6, and custom mode does. And also for production, auto mode is good for prototyping and testing, and not for production. And custom mode is very, very recommended for production. Like I said, because you already know what you need and you're going to be straight into the production ground. Okay, so these are concepts on Cloud NAT, which is just a network address translation, a translation process for. Oh, you will see that for us to, if we have correct access or secure access, or we have programmed or configured our Cloud NAT to accept traffic, incoming or outgoing traffic from a particular server, it's going to accept traffic from that server. But if we configured our cloud NAT not to, it's not going to. So you can see here that unauthorized access to our application has been denied. Do you have any questions? Okay, so if we do not have any questions, we're going to just continue. So now we're going to get into compute engine. Like I told you, it is an IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. And why is it an IaaS? Because it has different infrastructure operations running, like processing using RAM, CPUs, storage, which is hard disks, which is always zonal original, and networking using virtual interfaces, and our operating systems, either Linux or Windows. So it provides us the infrastructure that we would need for, let's say, our platform as a service, or let's say for our software as a service, right? So it provides the underlying layer. Google Cloud gives you the priority or the upper hand to just select what you need, and it provides the infrastructure as a service for you, right? So here, said would understand a lot when we get into the labs itself. So here we see that there are different types of machines, and I'm going to show you guys that once you're choosing your machines, there are obviously different types of machines, and these machines come with their pros and cons. You have machines that aid cost and flexibility, the ones you don't really have to pay for. You have those that comes with high performance but you might need to pay for. You have those that comes with large memory workloads. You also have those that comes with machine learning. You have those that comes with machine learning capabilities, right? So you also do have custom machine types. So a custom machine type is you telling the Google Cloud platform that I need an 80 core CPU, right? Or I need a 16 gigabyte memory. You're the one, they are already predefined machines, but now you want to custom make your machine according to your needs. And there you can on the GCP platform, you can custom make your machine type, right? So that there are some small things you need to understand. This is still load balancing, but I'll just explain it. um so you have policies that are available on virtual machines, right? Especially those that are operating in your different platforms. And let's say you have an application on cloud run, running on cloud run in, like I said, let's say 3 different continents, and you have users in these 3 different continents. For operations, you will need load balancing. Why? You will need that all your data within all these different regions or all these different zones are concurrent, and also can be accessed in low latency, right? Less network traffic, and also does not really provide or cause any bottlenecks, right, in access or hardware. In case of any data loss, you can easily get back a full backup, partial backup of data, depending on the particular load balancing technique you use. Yes, I will take it again on IAM by saying that IAM is simple. Who can do what on which resources, right? Who is an identity, either a user or a service account. That's a who. Those are measures of people in the cloud space, right? So who can do what? They can do what is said by us, right? Where we define different roles, permissions, and policies for our different cloud resources, right? So this particular service account can access this resource at this time, or this particular user can create a virtual machine at this time. So you would see with your GCP platform that you cannot actually do everything. There's restrictions with even the 5 credits that we have. It has been restricted by Google. There are resources that we can run and there are resources that we cannot run. So that's an example of them setting an IAM on from the billing account of what it can access and at what time, right? So who can access what on which resource? That's a very important concept. I would love you to write home. So before we get to sample questions, I told you guys we're going to get into the cloud so that I show you exactly what I meant. So let's just start. Google Cloud Console. Any questions? OS, I can see your hand. Yes, OS. Creating a VM. I don't understand your question. I'm sorry, I don't really understand your question. You said creating a VM, the one you mentioned, custom creation. Oh, no. The custom part is not AI implemented. It's still by you. You're the one implementing it. So there's not really anything AI implemented here. The only thing is that Google Cloud already has predefined setups. Let's say predefined core features that you might need. Let's say I'll get into that, but let's say you want to use you want to run an EC2, the particular resources you can run on, you can choose the particular operating system, the storage, the RAM, everything. So let's just get into it. I think if I get into the practical part, I show you exactly what I mean. If you still have an issue, you just tell me. Okay, amazing. Yes, please tell me if you can see my screen. Just tell me if you can see this small module. Okay, amazing. So like we see here, this is the current project, agent game. This is a current project where I was building an agent, and here are projects that are running in my cloud, in my Google Cloud platform. Projects I have worked on and that are running, right? For us to create a new project, we would have to click here, new project, right? And once we click on new project, I'll show you guys exactly what I meant when I was saying no organization folder. So like you see here, I have just one organization which is named no organization. You can rename it, but I don't like renaming mine. I love it like that. So no organization is my root folder, right? With my ID 0. It's my root folder. And or let me not say root folder, it's the root of all GCP projects, right? You have all your projects in this particular parent resource. So you always need to choose it. So if you have many organizations, I can create other organizations. If I have many organizations here and I actually group my projects according to organizations, I would choose the particular organization here, right? But I just have one. And you have a billing account. Like I said, to create a project, you must choose a particular billing account. So like I told you, I have multiple billing accounts. I'll just choose any. Almost all of them have the same name. Me and trial or free credits. Either ways. Okay, here your project name can be modified, right? But you cannot modify your project ID. Your project ID is automatic. So let's say test week 2, right? So let me just put it like that. Test week 2. I think under here, I don't know if you guys can see that. That's our project ID. Can you see the project ID? Thumbs up if you can see the project ID. Okay, yeah. So the project ID is automatic. We do not edit it. To avoid issues, we do not touch the project ID. So we have our project name, the project ID just there. We have our Google platform billing account that we set while creating the project, and our organization, which is our root or parent resource, and my quotas. So I'll just take you guys to the quota page so that you see exactly what has been running and why they are telling me to manage it. So yeah, I think you can see the quota request page and everything. So that here they're just trying to tell me the overall things, why I'm seeing that funny message there and what I should do. And here I'm just supposed to provide some basic information about myself and request for more quotas, right? Let's say 50, 3, yeah, and just request for more quotas. Now, we are just going to create our project stubbornly. So yeah, we have our project which is creating, yeah, on its way. So it takes some time to set up everything. Thumbs up if you can see my screen and you see the project creating, even though it's taking so long. Oh, is your hand is still up? Is there another question? Okay, amazing. Okay, so that project is taking so long to create. I'm thinking of switching to okay, like you can see the different things I've been doing on my Google Cloud platform. You can see that from my notifications. I don't think I have anything to hide there, Abby. Yeah, I don't. So you can see different services have been running, and enabling, and some are failing. You understand, depending on exactly depending on what I have access to and what I do not have access to. And or depending on the particular region I don't have access to. As you can see, the tool that I read, I don't have access to the particular region I was trying to run that is on, and I was just still trying either ways. Yeah. And yes, so this notifications bar is just going to keep you in tabs on what is going on in your particular project, what is going right and what is going wrong, obviously. And you can also look through your logs to know exactly what is happening at time T, right? It's always good to monitor your services and resources as they run. So this project is taking too much time. I think I'll just switch to an existing project to just cut us some slack and time. Yeah, so you can see this is our landing page for our project. You can see our project ID here. You can copy it from time to time, because if you're trying to run your services using the CLE, you would be using your project ID as reference to the project, right? Yes. So these are quick stats here. These are quick stats. I am an admin, like I said, when you want to allocate access controls to particular resources, billing when you want to allocate a particular billing account to the project, or set quotas. So let's just get into the quotas like I told you guys. I want to show you guys how to set alerts and also how to monitor quotas. Excuse me. Okay, so why that loads, it's taking too much time. And obviously our project has successfully created after we switch to another. We'll just continue here either way. So as you can see, what like what I said before, if you create a new project and you see this project has no billing account, we would have to link a particular billing account to the project. So you come to link billing account, and here we'll choose from the numerous billing accounts. Hope I have credits in this billing account. Either ways, I'm trusting that I have credits. You have reached your limit. Wow. Okay, let's try another. Okay, that was successful. So I think it's just going to take some time to boot and give me the landing page with my billing account set, the amount of credits allocated to that billing account, my consumptions, the running services and resources. Even this one I've already started to consume. Wow. Yeah. So here you can see a tab, budget and alerts. Here you can create your budget and you can create alerts once that budget is reached, right? Please, if you have a question, just pop the question because I cannot really see. So we click on create budget, right? So we can easily set our budget either by time range, monthly, weekly. Um, so here we will just name our budget. I don't like to really stress with names. So it's either we go for a monthly time range, quarterly, yearly, or a custom range. Like I said, custom range, you can put a particular date, another date, let's say a month, 2 months. I think I will go for yearly. So what are the services I want to run? I want to do a cloud run. I would love to obviously always access the cloud run service to run my applications on this platform as a service without necessarily needing to configure anything platform or anything infrastructure, right? I also love to have access to the cloud login so that I can be able to monitor all my resources and everything I'm actually building in the cloud, right? For cloud build, I'm not really interested. Cloud storage, yes, because I would obviously love my containers and buckets to be running and storing my data in the cloud. This is where you choose the different services or resources you need according to what you want to do in the cloud, and according to your budget, obviously. For some of us that have about $5, right? It's good to set this so that you do not, because here all the services were 1,775 services were available for me to use. But with my $5, even 5 services I will not be able to use, and you'll be finished, right? So yeah, you can click next. You can now select a particular amount. Let's say last year spent, which is a very bad idea. Let me just change this. Specific amount, right? Let's put our $5, right? So are we together? Hope we are together. Yeah. So we put our $5. That is going to be our target amount. We click on next to go to actions. So here we define our alerts, the kind of alerts we want to receive. right? You can receive a 50% budget consumption, you can receive 90% budget consumption, total budget consumption, and the like, right? So all of those are already set automatically. I just need to say yes. And here you can accept that all the alerts should be sent via email, and it can link directly to your monitoring so that you would be seeing that, oh Jesus Christ, $1,000, how, right? Yes, and you just click on finish. And we have created a budget alert, which will help us not spend all our money on our cloud services, right? So an organization gets you as their cloud engineer and gives you $50 per month for their cloud services, and you see that you start to consume more than $50. Who do you think will pay the rest? You would. So you need to obviously know how to set billing, set your budget on your billing account, and make sure that a service doesn't consume more than it is expected to, right? Please, is this concept very well understood? Amazing. Yep. So, like I said, if you want to see the amount of credit we have on this billing account, you can just click here on credit. Waiting for that to load. And yes, we can see the amount of credit here, a $5 credit. And I'm left with $4 something. Sha, $4 something, right? Which shows that resources are already running on this account. And in the next 1 month, is it going to still be $4? It's going to likely be on a minus and on somebody's credit card, right? So yeah, um, that's it for billing. You can see your reports here, your billing reports here. You can also see an overview of everything billing here. So that different tabs you can just navigate um to understand what is happening when and how with your resources, right? So that is everything concerning billing. I think we'll just dive straight into creating our VM. So here you can see the different cloud services that I picked to run on this. I just hope that I also choose. Okay, either ways. You can see the different cloud services that are running on this particular account. You can see the service I'm using most, which is Vertex AI. You can see that I've used Cloud Run, Cloud Build, even though I've not yet used it. I already allocated this to a particular resource. So these resources are allocated to this account, and this is the value of what I've already used in terms of cost, right? Right. Yeah. We will just go back to our nav menu. With this beautiful nav menu, I saw that Uma already went through this nav menu, so I'm not going to overdo today. I'm just going to be diving straight into everything that we have covered for our foundation and core services, and I'll take you to the IAM. So after the IAM, we would create our virtual machine. Please just stay tuned. I know this is kind of long. So once you go to IAM and admin panel, you choose IAM, right? And that is going to load. So we'll just give it some time to load. Okay, that's taking more than 2 whiles. Okay, amazing. So I would love that you look here, because in everybody's account, in your account, you would see this. You would obviously always and all the time see this, right? Why would you see this? Because you are already a user and you have some particular roles assigned to you. Like as you can see here, I'm supposed to cover my email before you guys go and spam the email. Either ways. Here you can see me as the primary owner of the account and the different permissions I access. That I access a lot of permissions. I have access to a lot of permissions. And also you can see a small account there. So here you just see quotas, some services, buckets, some different types of commands, or I can say resources I have access to. It's a long list of resources actually have access to, right? So as the owner of the project, I have a lot of access, right? And here, this is the service account that I am using. the service account that has a $5 credit that all of us are using, that restricts our access to some particular stuff, right? The things we can do and the things we cannot do, right? So here there is access control by principles and there's access control by roles. What interests us very much is access control by roles. Yeah. So access control by principles. Let's take, for example, we want to create access to a particular resource. So I just want to make sure you see the different tabs in creating a particular role. So we are creating this role on the resource project, right? This is our project, right? And we want to create a new principle, right? A new principle would be, I was a principal and I want to create another was using for one of their labs. So I'm just going to put that there, right? So this service account is our new principal, right? Or our new user. And this person has, we should select the kind of role that we want to use to this person, right? So these are there are basic roles, that is editor, owner, viewer, browser. They are job function based roles. Either he's a database admin, a DevOps engineer, ML engineer, and they are access approval roles. Does this person view approval, approve approvals, and everything? Yeah. So what we are very much interested in is our basic roles, right? Because they give us exactly what we need. We do not need, we just need who can edit, who can view, and who owns that particular resource. So I am already the owner of this project, but I can add another owner, right? Who has full access to the project, or an editor who has access to view, create, and update or delete some particular cloud resources, and a viewer who just has permissions to view a list of resources, right? So yeah, um here we have it. Let's say I give him an editor role, or her, don't know, and I give him or her an editor role. I can add roles and add some conditions, just to make sure that it's really predefined. The principal or the service account or user doesn't go against or use any resources against my will, against my control, against my access control. I want to limit the service account according to my security principles. I don't want this particular service account, let's say running a VM or deleting a VM, because that's very pertinent. If you give a service account the ability to access all your resources, let's say an organization trusts you with handling their cloud infrastructure and they have more than 50 VMs running at time T on in different locations, and you give the wrong access controls to an individual who deletes, let's say just one, can cost an enterprise billions. So it's good to understand how to create access controls and define different principles and conditions to restrict access from particular accounts, right? So yeah, like we said, we are creating this for this, and we just click on save. So it's updating the policy. It's just going to add that we're just going to have one more editor, right? By the time it's done. So yeah, I think, is this concept understood? Thumbs up if it's understood. Thumbs up. Amazing. Okay, if it's understood, that is great. So we are going to lift for from access control. So for here, you can create access controls. You can create who can access. You can deny access controls here in the next tab. Oh god, this network is really slow. Someone might think I'm using Glow. Okay, here you can create deny policies. Let's say you want to create a deny policy. Let's say deny all. It has a particular ID, deny all. And here you just have to choose the particular principles, right? The particular principles of service account, and the different denied permissions is denied to access the Google Cloud APIs. It's denied to access, let's say we choose from these different resources. It's denied to access which, and which. So that principle is denied to access what and what and what and what. So here you'll be able to imagine you don't want that a particular user should even have access to where to create a VM instance, not to even talk about deleting it. Here you can define that you can choose the particular resource that says create VM instances, and that user will not be able to access or delete that, right? So let me just go back. Sorry, I don't want to create deny policies. Yeah. What do we also need to know in the IAM? I think you can see security insights from your project on security insights. Just here, it's loading. You can also see the different service accounts in the project here. You can manipulate your settings. You have your logs here. As you can see, the cursor, a lot of them will take too much time to load. So you can just explore on your own. If you have any issues, you get back to me, and yes, we'll get into it. So here, as you can see, I have some risks identified by my Google platform. So you have also non-human identities identified by my security insight, telling me I have. So I'm just going to click on which one is non-human identity. I'm sure that this non-human identity that you're talking about might be me. Okay, it's not me. It's the principle that was automatically created by the Google Cloud 5 credit platform, also the Google Cloud 5 credit, that limits access to some particular resources, right? So that it has identified it as a non-human identity, and we know that that is non-human. It starts with numbers, so the cloud platform is flagging it, right? This just helps you have like an overall view of the different permissions you have granted for different service accounts, and if it's secure or not, giving that particular type of access to that service account or not, right? Yeah. So here you have quotas. Like I said, I know my quota limits are always very high. So quotas are just a measure of your resource consumption, and this falls under security too, just to make sure that you see that this resource is not consuming more than it's supposed to, right? This resource was supposed to consume, let's say, 20 quotas, and it's consuming 50. So as you can see here, there are different quota values allocated to different resources, let's say services, let's say BigQuery API, um lots of BigQuery API. So there are a lot of APIs, there are thousands of APIs, that this is 20,909 different services or APIs that you running on different regions, obviously, that have particular quotas, right? So to run a particular API, or let's say this particular service, you need to have this particular number of quotas. So once I pass this limit, right? Once I pass this limit, I would obviously not have access to these different services. So it's great that I can create an alert to quotas, or let's say reduce the amount of requests that a particular API is making per minute or so, right? So quotas actually take into consideration all of that, right? Yeah. So you can here you can set alerts. I think we've already gone through setting alerts in the GCP platform. So it's just um kind of the same procedure. You just set alerts on the amount of quotas a particular resource is supposed to consume. I want to make sure that we know how to use our Google Skills platform, and also how to interpret our labs right up to the GCP platform. So that's what we're going to be doing. I can see that my network is not that great, so I'm just going to reload my GCP. But while that is reloading, I'll just share, I'll go back to our path in the Google Skills platform. So can we see our creating virtual machines lab that we're about to engage in? Can we see that? Amazing. Okay, so let me just make sure that we are all together. Are there any questions before we create our virtual machine? Because after creating our virtual machine, obviously we'll just have some questions, and I'll refer you so that you understood the session of today, just to test your knowledge, obviously. So before we get into creating our virtual machine, don't look at the 1 hour there. It's not going to be up to 1 hour. So like I said, our path is path 11, which is the cloud engineer path, and we are on essential Google Cloud Infrastructure Foundation. And here we would create a virtual machine. So it's kind of looking long, and I was promising all of us that it's not going to be long. So as you can see here, they tell you need 5 credits to run this VM. You see what I was telling you guys? These 5 credits is not for GCP. This 5 credits is for the Google Skills platform. So for like you access your you cannot call them credits anymore because I already allocated them to you. But like you joined the credit or the small group for the study group for the Google Skills platform, you had access to some particular labs. Cloud engineer included a lot of other courses included. So if you want to learn AI, ML, you can still access all of that within the cloud platform. So um the first thing you should do when once you want to start a lab during your course is to read through the requirements, to read through what you'll be actually doing, right? So example, creating virtual machines. As you can see here, their objectives. What are our objectives? To create several standard VMs and create advanced VMs, right? So sub requirements, we have to click this start button. That's what they see here. You have to click this start button. And once you click the start button, you would have Google Cloud Console, a Google Cloud Console button. You have the time that you have to, the time limit. And obviously, as you click start lab, the time already starts counting down. And you have some temporary credentials, right? Like those different principles that we saw. You have temporary credentials to the project. So Google has already created a particular principle with some different access control rules that you will just use to create just VMs. And if you try to use that particular service account to do other things, you will see that it's limited and you cannot do that, right? That's where our access or IAM comes into place. Here we would obviously click that, and then we'll see a username, a password, and we just need to copy our Google platform link, paste it in a new tab or incognito tab, and we'll get access to our Google Cloud platform using that particular service account given by them. And here, as you can see, these blank spaces. This is because once you start the lab, a particular region and zone will be allocated to you. It's obviously automatic. I love how they do stuff. Google does stuff, so it's very interesting. It's automatic according to the needs of the lab and also according to its disponibility, right? Here you'll be running a series which is EC2, and you'll be choosing your machine type and everything. So I said let's do this so that you understand, especially OS, who was saying how what's the difference between custom and